Don't put yourself down, time for a change. Believe in yourself, time to rearrange. Be your best friend, bring hope to your day. Lose your critic, get out of your way. Now it clicks, moments of clarity. Now I hear moments of clarity. Now I get it, moments of clarity. To yourself be kind, it will please your mind. Find your joy, trust in you. Put in the time, you'll see how you grow. Many kinds of love you get to define. Find self-love, your soul will align. Now it clicks, moments of clarity. Now I hear moments of clarity. Now I get it, moments of clarity.
Hi, and thanks for tuning in to our live radio show. Moments of Clarity with Tiffany will begin in just a few moments. Please stay tuned. Kindly take this opportunity to share this show on your platforms, because change can only come when we stand together as one, especially when it comes to ending the stigma on mental health.
You are not alone, and help is out there.
Kids have mental health issues, and we also need to learn coping skills.
Let's get started and let the show begin. See you soon. Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in. This is Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. I'm Tiffany Warner. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, and I am your host. And today we're going to be talking about so many things: overcoming adversity and empathy, and so many other things, and wondering what a Scrum Master is, with my friend Sarbajoy Majumdar. And hi, Sarbajoy. Thanks for being here. I'm going to bring Ed up in a second. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Thanks for I hear you. Thanks for the wonderful introduction.
That's not formal. It's just until we start the show, but everyone can leave comments and captions. Hi, everyone. Please make sure to give the show a like if you're watching on whatever platform you're watching on. There's so many things we have to talk about, and that I'm excited to ask you, Sarvajoy. So it's going to be a great show. We were talking behind the scenes before it started, and talking about just Clubhouse and kindness. And where are you guys viewing us from, by the way? Say hi in the comments. Here's Dave Myers. Overcoming adversity is so important. It is. Change can only come when we stand together as one, right? Here's somebody you know, Sylvester Long. Sarbajoy, proud of you, brother.
Oh, thank you, Sylvester. Yeah.
Hey, Abby. Good morning. I googled what a Scrum Master was, and I'm still confused what it is. Excited to be informed today. Yeah, we did. Even Google doesn't know Sarbajoy. I'm excited to find out what it is from YouTube. Scrum Master.
For sure.
We can come up with a lot of different possible. What is one? I thought it was misprint. Hi, Dale. He says hi, Dale. Summon Innovations. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. You know, a lot of people say like 4 to
Yeah.
5 days. Friday's like the worst day of the week for me.
Oh,
I'm tired by now. Like Friday, I'm just beat. I
mhm. I hear you in that.
like the end of the day Friday. I like that the best.
Mhm.
But thank goodness it's Friday, right?
Yep.
I mean, we can all love our job. I love my job. Don't get me wrong. I love seeing clients and stuff. It does get exhausting and need some self care time. Ed, if you kindly unmute.
.com.
There we go.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Welcome to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Werner, licensed mental health counselor in the state of Florida. Moments of Clarity's mission is to educate and end the stigma on mental health through the inspirational stories of our exceptional guests. You can join in the show by calling Tiffany toll-free at 866-826-1340 or on Facebook and Twitter at MOC with Tiffany. Now, here's Tiffany Werner.
Hi, and thanks for listening and tuning in. My name is Tiffany Warner. I'm a licensed mental health counselor and your host, and you're watching Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. Today, we're going to be talking about adversity, empathy, and so much more, coming from someone that has a job called a Scrum Master that even Google doesn't know what it is. I am so looking forward to finding that out. And let's say hi to Ed first, behind the glass, as always.
Hey, happy Friday. Happy Friday.
Hey Ed, happy Friday. Meet my friend Sarbajoy.
Hey,
And
Ed, nice-
Hey.
Ed, have you ever heard of a Scrum Master?
No, I haven't. That's a new one for me.
No, it was for me too, and it's a job. You can Google it. I'll give you a second to Google it, and you tell me what one is.
Mhm.
I'm not
I would
kidding.
if I could. If I had a free hand, I would.
Okay. Anyway, well, we're going to find that out today too, and not only that, but empathy, and from someone that's had to travel all over the world, born in India, had to live in Singapore, now lives in Canada, and does so much with his spare time to help people with mental health. And
Right.
so, um, and everyone, this is Ed. When you call in and join our live conversation, please say hi to him when you do, and join in at any time. 866-826-1340. Thanks for all you do, Ed.
You betcha.
So anyway, so my guest today here is Sarbajoy Majumdar, and he is a Scrum Master, a world traveler, and a passionate human being who loves finding positivity in life. His day job is a Scrum Master for a Big Five bank in Toronto, Canada. He's the founder of an Empathy First Club on Clubhouse. He survived post-traumatic stress disorder and bipolar type 2 that's been conditioned by family upbringing. And so much. Born in India, raised in Singapore, like I said, from age 5 to 21, and in Canada. And welcome to Moments of Clarity, Sarbajoy Majumdar. And I hope I'm not crushing your last name. I'm trying my best.
Mhm.
So
No,
welcome.
you're doing well with pronouncing my name. Thanks so much. And if I have to be honest, even I mispronounce my own name once in a while, so it's all good. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
For sure. So right now I live in Toronto, Canada as a Scrum Master, but prior to that, uh, my family uh, my family is based in India, and I was born in Mumbai, India, and some of my family, including my parents, moved over to Singapore when I was a young child. So whilst they moved to Singapore, they still maintained a lot of their Indian culture and Indian backgrounds. And I was what was colloquially known as a third culture kid, where although at home I was brought up as an Indian, at school and everywhere else I went, I had to be Singapore, quote unquote, Singaporean. And I got both aspects of the world growing up. So there were times when I used to say something, speak in the Singaporean colloquial language at home, and my parents used to chide me for saying that this you are losing your culture as an Indian person. But when I go to school and bring words that is more commonly known in Indian English language or even in Hindi, I get chided for not being Singaporean enough. And growing up in Singapore in that setting where I felt nobody understood me growing up, and it was very hard doing that. And there were also some family issues that happened whilst on the stage of growing up that I never knew impacted me even up to me being an adult today, that I've only started realizing more of recently, such as when I was 12, there was a national exam that all 12-year-olds, i.e., grade sixers, had to do. And that was the first time that a lot of us in my family were also exposed to. So I was basically the guinea pig of how to raise a child in Singapore for my family. And
Yeah. How many? I mean, there's silver linings to everything. I mean, that's being culture shocked and
yep,
having to be confused on uh, what
like,
culture to be.
yep.
My mother's side of the family is from Madrid, and so raised
Hmm.
like that on one side, and then in America, we're just a bunch of mutts, to be honest,
Hmm.
aren't we? Like if everybody's something,
Yep.
a little bit of something. I don't know, but how many languages did you end up learning to speak from all of this?
So from that, I learned three languages. Uh,
That's pretty
Eng-
awesome.
yep, British English, Bengali, which is my like mother tongue in India, as well as Hindi, which is the language that most of India knows how to speak. I will admit though my Bengali is not the best of languages. Like I can maybe maintain a basic conversation at most, but I will nowhere good at doing a podcast in Bengali.
Well, you do better than me. I'm having Majumdar.
Hmm.
I had to say that 25 times to make sure I could pronounce your last name.
Hmm.
Let's see on Facebook. Hi Angel. She says Fridays are like the last legs. For me, are the last legs of a marathon.
Hmm.
Happy Friday. Um, there's a lot of nice comments here.
Hmm.
From Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. You can film, watch us live virtually every Thursday, Friday, 12 to 1.
Hmm.
And for all of those listening on the radio. Anyway, Dale said, I have a similar domestic issue of culture confusion, having moved from Texas to New York at the age of 10.
Hmm.
And that's Texas to New York. I mean, that's a big change, but at the same time, from India to Singapore to Canada,
Yep.
it's a lot. I mean, especially at a young age, just kids even having to change schools and go from either like a private school to a public school, or um, move from one school and have to regain to know who their friends are. That's hard on them. How many times did you have to move and get to know other people? Not only that, from a different culture.
I
How did that
agree.
affect your self-esteem?
I used to, it used to impact me a lot because there were times I remember I used to cry about me missing friends. And I was just changing elementary schools once from a public elementary school to like a semi private elementary school, and that's a different concept in Singapore where there's like it still has public education curriculum, but funding and teaching is chosen by the school. So that's what a semi private school is in Singapore. So even switching from one to the other, there was a huge culture shock. And when my parents used to say, it's like, you're going to a better school with more reputation and it's going to be better for your future, you are going to thank us later. So they pretty much gave me the message of just deal with it, because uh, anything else like missing your friends and such is secondary. And I basically tried believing them in that okay, I'll probably try making new friends. And one of the things growing up that I feel has impacted me on that is I do not think I've had friends sticking longer than me for anything more than 10 years. I know because of different elementary school changes and even middle school changes.
What did you
Uh,
say? I missed it. You had to have not friends sticking around more than 10 years?
yep.
Is that what you meant? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So I know some people
There's a
have.
lot of people that like you have moving as an excuse, but sometimes
Mhm,
friends don't seem to stick around that long,
mhm.
Anyway,
I agree.
without even
Yeah.
moving.
Yeah. And just change of environments and many things. And I think that was probably one of the things. It's not just a change of environments. I was not even equipped emotionally to handle those change of environments, to take care of that. And that's
You said in
something.
your bio that you struggled with PTSD, post traumatic stress disorder,
Mhm,
as well as bipolar too, and
mhm,
growing up from your family conditioning. Is
mhm,
that what you're referring to with the post traumatic stress, the having to move and all of that, or is there more
mhm.
added to it as well?
There is more added to it, and I have definitely shared in a few Clubhouse rooms that I'm okay to be a bit more vulnerable about it. So pretty much after my grade 6 exam, which was the nationwide exam that happened, my mother, who also has some bipolar disorder and a few others, she could not handle the stress of seeing their child going through something stressful, that she had a stroke. Like her not her not handling her stress meant her not taking care of herself physically, and it caused a stroke. And that was traumatic. And at that time, because our South Asian culture is very community based, and seeing my mother fall sick, a lot of people said that your mother loved you a lot, that she felt sick and she almost died. And that was one of the beliefs I grew up with, like the doctors, uncles, aunts saying that your mother loves you so much that
Did she pass from the stroke,
she
or
did not she did not
it's
she's
a lot of weight to put on a kid, though? Like, hey, your mom
yeah,
loved you so much that she almost died
yep,
because she worried about you. Then, yeah,
yep.
that's not okay to see
and
a child.
and on top of that,
Even
like,
though they might have meant well, but it comes across the wrong way.
yep,
Definitely, I can
like,
understand that.
and on top of that, there were so many cultural things too, because I could not tell any of my Singaporean friends that this is how it is. And all I could just say that, hey, my mom is sick, I just have to uh, be away and I cannot hang out with you. And that was what 12-year-old me was able to say. And there were times I started getting angry at things. I used to, like, even take it out on my younger sister, for which I'm guilty of, when I was angry. And that's because I thought that maybe she did not have the burden of causing this trauma as much as I did. And I carried that guilt of causing that for so long that every
You
time,
did not
even
cause the stroke. You know that, right?
I do, it took a
Okay.
lot of years. It probably took me about, let's see, 2015 was when I started actually going for to a counselor, and went from 20 that onwards going to therapy and such. And it took me a lot of years to make me realize that it was not my fault. There was just many other things. And yeah,
Not your
community.
fault.
Yep, it was not my fault.
But a lot of survivors and things like that, when we're kids, we tend to blame ourselves. My mom, I found her when I was barely 18 on the bathroom floor from a brain aneurysm. She never
Mhm,
woke up. And then they do the stress, like they do the research, and the doctors are like, it's probably her blood pressure that caused it and stress. And I was a teenager and thinking, like, did I stress her out and cause that? We tend to
mhm.
do that to ourselves as kids.
Yep,
But I didn't have someone telling me that my mom
yep,
loved me so much she stressed out and died from a brain aneurysm. So it's a
yep.
little bit. different than what you went through. Like, no, I did that to myself, not some
Yeah.
of my family telling me that it was out of love or something.
Hmm.
So that must have been really hard.
It was. And I mean, I want to also share like my gratitude towards like my counselors and therapists, and even some of the friends I've made in the past 5 years or so, to whom I've opened up a bit more on this and just told me that, hey, it was never my fault. And it's only a recent discovery that, to me personally, that it was never my fault to begin with. And yeah, that was something I took a bit more. But yeah,
Well, she
I'm
survived, and it wasn't all just because of your sixth grade test. I'm a mother
yeah,
myself. I
yeah,
worry about my kids and stuff like that, but
yeah,
we have to physically self care and stuff like that. I don't
yeah.
think, and I know now, like, because I have a teenager that
Hmm.
I didn't cause my mother's brain aneurysm, and I
Yeah.
also know that I love them so much, but it wouldn't cause me the stroke.
Hmm.
Things just happen. So I'm a walking living proof that neither one of us, you or me, needed to feel at all guilty about any of that, because that's
Hmm.
just mothers can love their kids so much, but it doesn't mean that we have strokes or heart attacks because of it.
I agree.
Because having a teenager, I would be dead by now. I'm serious. If that was the case.
Hmm.
It's time for our break. So, Joe, you're doing great. And thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for your transparency and for everyone that's listening and leaving comments. Don't forget, you can call in 866-826-1340, 866-826-1340, and join the conversation. Right now, we are going to go to our first break, and we'll be back with Moments of Clarity with Tiffany after this. Please stay tuned.
You're listening to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Werner. We welcome your input at 866-826-1340. Tiffany will be right back after this.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Hello, my name is Lucy Lopes, and I'm a real estate agent that supports ending the stigma on mental health with Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. I am also passionate about helping you buy or sell your home. With times being so difficult, I'm here to help. Contact me at lucylopes.com. That's LUCYLOPES.com. Let me assist you through this pandemic and know that you are not alone.
If you're a show host, gamer, live streamer, podcast host, or radio show host that would like your message to get out and reach up to 30 platforms, then there's an affordable way to do that. It's called Restream. Restream makes it easy to broadcast professional live videos from your browser to multiple social platforms at once. Start your live show with guests, brand it with logos and overlays, and create an interactive experience for your audience. Learn more at Restream.io and mention Moments of Clarity for special offers.
Hi, this is Tiffany Werner, your host of Moments of Clarity. Living with a mental health disorder is not easy. If you or someone you know are struggling with this, please know it's so important to seek treatment, and I'm here to help. Please visit the website at momentsofclaritywithtiffany.com to view blog posts and resources on this site to help educate and inspire you to take action, because there's no shame in seeking help for mental health. While you're there, please take a few seconds to sign up for my email list. You'll get some extremely valuable educational and entertaining content that can be sent right to your inbox each week. Plus, you'll also get instant and free access to my guide on managing your anxiety. You can also follow me on Twitter at MOC with Tiffany and at Facebook at Tiffany Werner. And once again, the website is momentsofclaritywithtiffany.com. Thank you so much for your support and for listening to your show, because change can only come when we stand together as one.
Are you looking for a great book? If you like to root for the underdog, Joe Potosi's book is a book for you. A real American odyssey that will grab your attention with its fast-moving narrative. You won't be able to put this masterpiece down. When the Dust Settled by Joe Potosi. Go to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or Zulin Press.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
We are back to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Werner. To join in the discussion, call 866-826-1340. Now, here's Tiffany Werner.
Hello, and we're back. And if you're just tuning in, this is Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. My name is Tiffany Werner. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, and I'm your host. And today we're talking about overcoming adversity, empathy, and so much more from someone that's gone through so much as a child and undeserved guilt and so many moves and having to readapt and adaptation. And welcome back to Moments of Clarity, Sarbajoy Majumdar.
Thank you.
I'm trying my best to do the last name, but like you said, sometimes you mess it up.
Yeah.
Majumdar.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'm dying to find out what a Scrum Master is. So,
Okay.
but I want to, before we get into that, kind of reframe living with undeserved guilt and feeling like things were your fault for all that time. I'm glad that you sought the therapy, got the help, and was able to learn it was not your fault.
Thank you.
I wish it didn't take this long because someone could have told you that a long time ago, but I had to do that myself and it took a little bit, but it's nice to be told it's not your fault. And shame on anyone to put that on you. Just saying.
Yeah.
Anyway, so but your job during the day, your day job is actually a Scrum Master. And at first I thought it was a misprint because I've never heard of one. Scrum Master. Ed, you're welcome to pop in if you figured it out yet, by the way. Just saying. Anyway, anyone that wants to call in, 866-826-1340 and guess for a second before Sarbajoy fills us in, you're welcome to take a jab at it. Even if you Google it. Have fun with that. I'm looking forward to hearing it from the source, to be honest, because even Google doesn't know. I thought Google knows everything. And I'm waiting for your Google to go off in the background going, excuse me, ma'am? Because you have the Google Home.
Yeah.
You turned her off.
Yep. So my Google host.
Google, subscribe me to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany podcast, and she will. So I should have fun with that later after the show.
Yep.
Hi, Joe Potosi. And if you have a question for the guest, leave it here. We got some love on the live chats. Angel, thanks for being here. Gratitude is so healing. It's like helium. It helps us navigate out. Thanks for sharing this. Dale said, kids are so self-referential that they feel responsible for every bad thing that happens, especially when adults are reinforcing their guilty feelings. Dale, I can... Well said from YouTube. Thanks for tuning in on YouTube. But yeah, children can self-blame and feel guilt. Change can only happen when we stand together as one. Yep. Thanks, Angel, for that. And thank you for sharing your authenticity. Behind the scenes, Sarbajoy had messaged me and he said, thank you for allowing me to share my to say all of this face to face to a larger audience, because obviously this has been bothering you for a long time.
It has.
Yeah, and undeserved. You can learn to forgive yourself and your mom and your family for having that weight on your shoulders. Are you working through that in therapy?
Yep, I'm working a lot in therapy, and a lot of the work of late has been inner child healing and just letting that 12-year-old me that's still stuck inside saying that, hey, it was never your fault and you were you were amazing the way you are. You were amazing the way you are, just no matter what others were telling you back then. You were still authentically you, and you were living life the way you knew how to, and there was nothing wrong about that. Yeah,
Absolutely. And I saw that save right there. Thank you for saying amazing instead. I could not go through that 2 shows in a row where someone broke the golden rule on AMFM radio. So thank you for for rephrasing and catching because I know what you're about to say. If you want to learn more about Sarbajoy, he has a website as well, and Even he talks about how his name, like, he didn't like his name growing up from probably all the different cultures.
Hmm.
But Sarb Majumdar, Majumdar.com.
Hmm.
Anyway, so inquiring minds want to know, what is a Scrum Master? Sarbajoy, please.
So the short answer to it is somebody who works kind of like a team coach, but for software development teams. And of late, any teams that is delivering value uh, to customers. So Scrum Masters is just one of the ways that some big corporations hire for their respective software or other operations team to see how they can like improve effectiveness and efficiency of things. And with modern software just developing very quickly, we can't just be in the days of like Windows, like waiting for the next Windows up, from Windows 95 waiting for Windows XP. That was such a long time, and
Right.
people are frustrated with that. So software
Learning
teams
new
are,
software
yep,
updates. So I'm trying to put
yep,
this in layman terms, like,
yeah. So
easier terms,
yep.
common terms, like when you say software and all this stuff. Learning the software, teaching the team how to use it, and
Or,
making the team more able to what the program needs.
or more like teaching. So I don't do the software myself. There are a lot of software engineers who do that.
Right.
My job is just helping them find a process to make sure they get their work out to people as fast as possible.
So they teach you it, and then you teach it to the
So
employees.
so they kind of teach me how they, so it's kind of like, imagine the software, we want to get like a house built, for example, right?
Hmm.
The how to build a house, the software people do it, and they know how to like construct it. But there's also a lot of like behind the scene paperwork and many other things in order to get the house right.
Like the blueprints
Before
and stuff like that,
the
right?
blueprints, getting the blueprints and making sure it has all the approvals needed to actually make it an amazing house. The person who coordinates all the other like facets of making the house well alongside the builders. That's kind of what I would give the analogy, and hope it makes somewhat sense, because that you need like a permit to build a house, you need to have the right architecture, you need the right blueprints, and you need to make sure that the materials are right. And if in case the builders have an issue, like let's say they don't have the permit to build another floor, I'm the person who kind of works alongside to make sure that they're able to get those permits and whatnot. And that's kind of from like a layman ish. From
Yeah,
my
I mean, I love the example, and I could put a visual to it. I wonder why they call it Scrum.
uh,
Like,
so there is a huge history around it. I would say one of the methodologies used to like deliver software quickly is called Scrum, and that has been a methodology that a lot of modern software teams are have been using uh, to like implement software delivery for a long time. So
well,
the per-
kudos
so
to you.
yeah, so the person who's kind of like a supposed expert in how the methodology works is the Scrum Master. And contrary to popular belief, Scrum is not so much about like you have to code in certain X, Y, and Z way. It's more so enforcing that uh, work work in small sizes instead of building everything at once. Make sure you're having constant interaction with the customers you're building it for, and making sure that everyone who's working on building it is actually feeling motivated to do it. So it's less of a software role and more of a human role. Like I wouldn't even call it a managerial role. It's more of a human role. Like we are just making sure that when we are helping someone, and if technology is a medium we are thinking of helping someone, we're making sure everyone feels satisfied in the outcome of whatever's happening. It just happened I'm very specifically put in the technology field of it, but every role, every like thing has a similar role. Like even think about it from a sports team. The team coach is kind of like that. Like the team coach doesn't play the game themselves, but they kind of help the players figure out what's the right way to like score the next touchdown or defend against the opposing team and such. So it's very much a team coach. And
So you've got a multifaceted career.
it is.
You notice the background? I'm using
Yeah.
the streams of the digital matrix as well
Mhm.
as team building, and
Yeah.
that I felt like doing that. Sorry.
No, no worries. It's all, it's all good.
Anyway, so not only do you need people skills, but you need to know how to read, quote unquote, metaphorically, a blueprint of a house as well. Like you need to talk to be
Mhm.
able to talk to software people, but also communicate and be a people person socially.
Yep. Yep.
And so, yeah, it takes someone very, very knowledgeable, but sweet and empathetic and
Mhm.
patient to do what you're doing. So it does. It's amazing, and it takes a special person to do that.
Mhm.
I think they could have called it something better. A Scrum Master. It's like I thought it was a typo. I didn't know if you were being serious.
Mhm.
And then I googled it. I'm like, it's a real thing. I think they could call you like something like um, I would have to come up with a better name because the first thing that comes to mind I'm not allowed to say on air. But you know what I mean? Something like
Mhm.
good guy to know, but
Mhm.
something along that lines. We have a caller. We have caller Dave.
Mhm.
Dave, thanks for calling in. Welcome to Moments of Clarity.
Hi. How's it going, Tiffany? And Sarbajoy.
Mhm.
I just want to say what you're talking about, the Scrum Master thing. I'm not sure I'm grasping all of it, but I know what you're talking about in terms of like the coach kind of playing a part, and he kind of helps people go on, and that's kind of something I can relate to as like when I facilitated groups, I kind of help people come out with their creative side and write things
Mhm.
down that were kind of like, like write stories and stuff like that. And like I would try to inspire them to say things that were entertaining or creative. Is that kind of like the same kind of thing as what being a Scrum Master is in a way?
I would say yes, it is very much like that. And I know there are some other theoretical ways that some Scrum Masters are supposed to do, like writing the stories, even maintaining a list of tasks that they need to do, which we call the backlog of tasks, and prioritizing and just like teaching teams how to like work with such a system uh, to uh, do that. And a lot of my personal focus has also been in making sure people understand the capacity that they're working on and actually communicate that, because most of my recent conversations has really been around fact that people take a lot more than they can handle, and that creates a lot of un unexpected promises that's not being met and unexpected deadlines not being met. So
And not so much productivity and more
mhm,
mental health and sick days and all of that too.
yep.
So
And yeah, just being I'm basically being an advocate for the people, and things like writing story, teaching people how to write the stories, teaching people how to work as a collaborative group instead of doing everything by themselves in a silo.
anyway,
And
you're like the glue to the company. Is it usually banks that need something like that, or
um, no, I think every company has an extent of someone playing that role in their respective like software teams. Banks, other financial institutions, telecommunications
because you work
are.
a big five bank in Toronto, Canada?
Yep. So a lot of
bigger companies might need something such as you.
Yep.
I'm going to let you go, but thank you for calling in. Did we answer your question?
Thank you. Yeah, I just was wondering if there's any kind of comparison to like being a facilitator in any way.
Oh yeah, we facilitate meetings as well. Like that's one of the things to like, because we do want to advocate for more face-to-face interactions versus just sending emails and such. And sometimes to even help make sure that these face-to-face conversations go smoothly as possible, with minimal storming or with constructive storming, I sometimes play that facilitator role to make sure that things go well.
Like a peacekeeper.
Like a peacekeeper. And sometimes I even...
Scrum Master makes it sound evil. Just saying. You're like more like a peacekeeper. Dave, thanks for so much for calling in and for your support on Moments of Clarity. And please call in anytime. I appreciate it. And I'll let you go for now. And that's awesome. I was curious. Here, my friend Adia, watching from YouTube, she said, "That's awesome, Sarbajoy. I like the coach analogy. I work in quality improvement in healthcare, and I see some similarities with your Scrum Mastering." So maybe Abby, you're going to get your next promotion and become a Scrum Master. I've seen the salary. You make good salary being Scrum, the master of Scrum, the peacekeeper.
Yeah.
Speaking of peacekeepers, let's go on to what more you do. Because not only that, you have making STEM education acceptable by volunteering with STEMHub Foundation, a charity organization based in Toronto. And you also are the founder of Empathy First Club on Clubhouse. So let's talk about Empathy First Club on Clubhouse and then your charity organization as well. But let's get to that after our second break because that's a lot. You're amazing, Sarbajoy. I'm so impressed with everything that you're doing. And we're going to find out more about you when we get back from this break. Everyone, please stay tuned. And thanks for all the comments. A lot of good input. We'll be back with Moments of Clarity in just a moment.
We will return to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Warner after these messages.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Do you ask yourself any of these questions? Will I ever be able to get out of debt? Will I ever be able to retire? How am I going to pay for my children's education? How do I begin saving for my family's future? And if something were to happen to me, will my family be taken care of? Have you struggled in finding the answers? Forever Forward Financial can help answer these and many more questions about your financial future by teaching you how money works, by providing you the financial education you seek, by assisting you in making the right retirement or educational decisions that are best for you and your family, and by helping you take the necessary steps in establishing and meeting your financial goals. Please call us today and schedule your complimentary, no-obligation meeting to discuss your needs and concerns. The number, 727-422-7761.
Are you having trouble staying sober after you've completed rehab and need a positive environment to help you continue sobriety? At Real Recovery Sober Living, we strive in both community and environment for men in early sobriety to help support you while in early recovery. For only $750 a month, we cover everything you need when it comes to a safe, clean, and accountable environment necessary for success in sobriety. Check out our website at realrecoveryfl.com. That's realrecoveryfl.com. We have 6 locations in Tampa, St. Petersburg, Clearwater, Brandon, North Tampa, and Bradenton, because everyone deserves a quality, sober living.
Hi, this is Tiffany Warner, your host of Moments of Clarity. Living with a mental health disorder is not easy. If you or someone you know are struggling with this, please know it's so important to seek treatment and I'm here to help. Please visit the website at momentsofclaritywithtiffany.com to view blog posts and resources on this site to help educate and inspire you to take action, because there's no shame in seeking help for mental health. While you're there, please take a few seconds to sign up for my email list. You'll get some extremely valuable educational and entertaining content that can be sent right to your inbox each week. Plus, you'll also get instant and free access to my guide on managing your anxiety. You can also follow me on Twitter at MOC with Tiffany and at Facebook at Tiffany Warner. And once again, the website is momentsofclaritywithtiffany.com. Thank you so much for your support and for listening to your show, because change can only come when we stand together as one. Hi, this is Tiffany Warner, your host of Moments of Clarity. I'd like to give a shout out to musician-songwriter Don Lawson, who wrote, produced, and performed all the vocals and instruments on my Moments of Clarity theme song. Don gained his inspiration as a mental health counselor himself. He's always looking for artists to record his songs, and you can hear more of Don's music at reverbnation.com/Don Lawson. You can also check him out on Twitter at Don Lawson Music. Thank you so much, Don, for your contribution to Moments of Clarity and ending the stigma on mental health. It's awesome.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Now back to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Werner, licensed mental health counselor. To engage in the conversation, call 866-826-1340. Here's Tiffany.
And welcome back to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. I'm Tiffany Warner, licensed mental health counselor, and I'm your host. And today we've gotten some education on someone that's got a very hard time growing up from culture shock, from having to adjust from India to Singapore to Canada to all sorts of things. And now just educated us on what a Scrum Master does. I know they make good money. I saw that on the internet trying to figure out what a Scrum Master is, but I know what one is now, and it's more like a peacekeeper. So welcome back to Moments of Clarity, Sarbajoy Majumdar.
Mm-hmm.
So before we went to the break, I wanted to kind of get into all the charity work that you're doing too. Like I said, peacekeeper, peacemaker, whatever. You do charity work, and you host a show on Clubhouse, a room, and it's the Empathy First Club. And talk a little bit about that and when it airs, when people can join to listen.
Sure. So yeah, empathy first. I realize it's so a good part of why I even created the club was some parts of my own personal growing up with some of those mental health issues, as well as what I do as a job as a peacekeeper. And I realized on Clubhouse, even in the few rooms I used to go to prior to going into creating that club, I used to be a peacekeeper of sorts, and I realized that sometimes a lot of social media conflicts and dramas could just end if people were just learning about each other, talking to each other face to face, and understanding them a bit more. And I realized Clubhouse had a gap of there wasn't a space within Clubhouse that allowed people to naturally try gaining curiosity of each other and trying to empathize with each other or learn about each other. So that's why I created the club called Empathy First. Mind you, I was very nervous creating the club. I just did it. I was nervous of being a host of a room, and as much outspoken as I am now, I do have a lot of stage fright and nervousness that I used to deal with for the longest time.
Look at you here now on virtual. But with Clubhouse, it's just a picture and voices behind a picture with a bio or whatever,
And also on top of
slowly building your self-confidence, though. That's, to make ourselves uncomfortable is exposure therapy for anxiety. I've been trying to get a couple of my friends just to join a club, and I think you guys know who you are out there, just to listen in and maybe speak, because that would help them so much. It's empowering to share our trauma and our stories and everything, because that's what helps us change and heal, right? So what's your room about, and when is it?
So my room eventually is about creating platforms within Clubhouse where we either get to hear each other and develop curiosity about each other's lives as much as possible. And I do 3 different rooms. We do
Wow.
ones on Tuesdays, in which we call it like open discussions. So we just pose a topic and we get people on our Clubhouse stage to speak on the topic and see what their thoughts are and maybe even help each other out.
Hmm.
And on Thursdays, uh, we do these rooms. They now are called story spotlights, but they used to be known as Ask Me Anything. And we used to get people from the Clubhouse community with a unique story to share their story and get people to ask them uh, about their experiences and such. And we've had guests as such as former professional baseball MLB players, as well as current MLB players, and someone who went through living life as an indigenous member of the indigenous community in Canada and the atrocities they face, as well as a former genocide survivor.
Yeah,
And
I think I've spoken with a lot of people. I keep getting guests off of Clubhouse, so
yeah, and
yeah, there's amazing stories. Everyone has an amazing story.
mhm,
Most of the time, in some of these rooms, people just want to talk and tell their
mhm,
story and then leave. Have you noticed
yeah,
that?
yep,
And thanks for hearing me, and then not stick around and get to validate others.
mhm,
Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays at
yeah,
7:15 p.m. Eastern
and
Standard Time
yep.
on Clubhouse.
And Fridays our Let's Decompress room, where we just more of a social room where we come about.
What
And
times on Fridays? So
uh,
you didn't give me that info with your intake.
it's 7:15 p.m. Yeah.
So
And
7:15 across the board, Eastern
yep,
Standard Time,
yep.
almost every day of the week.
Hmm.
You're getting some love here. I want to say something
Hmm.
from Fez Awan. I hope I'm saying Awan on YouTube. Um, and he said, I didn't intend to speak at first, but Sarb is so kind and warm and welcoming. I now do, and I have built up courage to speak more. Thank you, Sarb, and your team of all your great rooms.
Hmm.
Yay.
Okay. Thank you,
And
Fez.
Fez, thank you for watching on YouTube.
Hmm.
And Angel says, yes, we learned so much from witnessing others. Angel's watching from Facebook. It's uplifting of each other. Thank you for sharing this.
Hmm.
It's true. To be heard and to feel understood and not judged really empowers us to heal
Hmm.
and support each other. But you were saying something from before the show about positivity and how sometimes people can rely and it turns into.
Hmm. Because I know I've definitely experienced it, and to some extent, and some of the other people I've known of Clubhouse, where they either have somebody just hounding them in every single room they go to,
Yeah, I have.
or,
Even though
or
I'm inconsistent, you're consistent 4
Mhm,
times a week. I just kind of come on,
mhm,
but yeah, you do. You get the ones that cling to you because they trust you or whatever.
yep. Or there are people who may not like your style of positivity or may not appreciate you as much. And I have seen people create rooms about you. Like, I'm thankful that no one's created a room about me to my own knowledge, but I've seen some of my friends who've had rooms created about them for them being with slanderous things. And
I
that's
would be one of them.
mhm, right. Yep.
Wouldn't let them on the show or whatever. We have 5 minutes left. We have to.
Yeah.
But not everyone can get their way, and
Yeah.
I mean, not
Yep.
everyone's gonna like us for
Mhm,
our kindness. And
yep. And I realize with positivity and, like, I guess with positive spaces, the one thing I learned to accept is that there could be 3 cases. One is people who just appreciate your positivity and love you for that, and that's healthy and what every one of us wants. Then there's others who get jealous of it, and they'll like try bringing you down, and it's as simple as ignoring them. And the third one, which is the more tricky one that even I'm struggling with, is some people who get so dependent on you that they start following you in every rooms. They are like sending you messages like, if you don't do this room, I'm gonna like cry and like things. And I'm
oh wow, I haven't
and
gotten that, but I do get. Hey, do you have time to talk after this room?
Mhm,
I need a therapist,
mhm,
and I joined to try to be
yeah.
like. listen to your positivity, not be the therapist of the room, you know?
Yeah, I agree. And I'm not even a qualified therapist, but there are some people who tell me things that I'm like, I think you need a more licensed person to tell these things to, and not me. I appreciate you for trusting me, but I cannot help you. But there are some people who think that only I can help them. And I have dealt with that. And sometimes I felt really guilty about leaving them alone. And I'm not, but I had to decouple the fact that them not wanting to seek the actual help is not on me. I did all I can by saying that, look, there are people you can go to, and I can even list you names of people you can approach.
Yeah,
But
you give them options, but you
Yeah.
don't have to be the problem solver. We can't change the world just one. We're not Robin Hood, and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
We need to
Yeah.
band together. Leslie Levinson, Facebook would like to connect. So let's just really quick, because we have this is a wrap up time. I need the last 2 minutes to close the show. So
For sure.
really quick, I know you can find you on your Instagram, Sarbajoy. It's
Yep.
on Instagram. Leslie, if you have Instagram, are you on Facebook, Sarbajoy?
Yep. My Facebook name is actually Sarb Majumdar.
Okay, that's
So-
probably why I couldn't find you.
Yeah.
So I need to tag you on the show.
hmm
Anyway,
I barely use Facebook though, so but yeah.
yeah. So like when I asked for all your social links before the show, I didn't get that one.
Yeah. I forgot. I think I forgot my password. I need to figure out my Facebook stuff.
You're on LinkedIn too, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I'm on LinkedIn.
So Sarbajoy Majumdar.
Yep.
So Leslie, that's a great way to reach out, and anyone else who wants to reach out to Sarbajoy, Instagram, it's easy to connect with him there, or Clubhouse. Sarbajoy, I admire so much of everything you do, and how even going through all of everything in the past, I gotta say, I think that everything that we've gone through in our past defines who we become, and you became a survivor, not a victim, and are using what you've been through to help others. And I admire you so much for that. And thank you for being on Moments of Clarity. Thanks, everyone. It's time to close up the show, and have a wonderful weekend. We're on every Thursday, Friday, 12 to 1 Eastern Standard Time. And be kind to yourself and a stranger. Change can only come when we stand together as one. Have a great Friday. Thanks, everyone.
Now it's Don't put yourself down, time for a change. Believe in yourself, time to rearrange. Be your best friend, bring hope to your day. Lose your critic, get out of your way. Now it clicks, moments of clarity. Now I hear moments of clarity. Now I get it, moments of clarity. To yourself be kind, it will please your mind. Find your joy, trust in you. Put in the time, you'll see how you grow. Many kinds of love you get to define. Find self-love, your soul will align. Now it clicks, moments of clarity. Now I hear moments of clarity.